Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos. So just going to give you an overview of Manchester United's transfer spectrum. These are lots to negotiate on this video today. Going to give you the latest news about De Gea. Also going to keep you up to date with what's going on over Bissaka. Also going to give you the latest news about Ligt. But we'll start with David De Gea. So there is positive news that's come out about David De Gea. I have been reading reports today now saying that Manchester United are reportedly willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands, because reportedly Manchester United have reopened up talks with David De Gea. But potentially, we have been in talks for quite some time of trying to get David De Gea a new contract. It reportedly allegedly said we'd offered him £300,000 a week at the turn of the year, but obviously David De Gea had turned this down, because obviously that's £50,000 left than what he's currently demanding and all that. So he wants £350,000 a week from Manchester United, and now reportedly we are willing to meet his wage demands, and reportedly we're set to offer him a 4-year deal, well initially 5 with an option to extend it by a further year. So this is very good news indeed. Obviously we do know that David De Gea has been heavily linked with a £60 million move to PSG, but obviously recent reports now have said PSG have opted out of the race, and they have turned their attentions more on Donnarumma. But I'm really happy about this, to be quite honest, because David De Gea is potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. Obviously he's been a fantastic servant to the club. He has been here 8 years. He has made over 300 other appearances in all competitions. He's won everything here domestically, and of course he has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. But like I said, it's good that we're now going to probably get him a new contract term and all that, because there was that risk that we could have lost him on a free transfer next year. And like I said, if we couldn't come to an agreement to get him a new contract, it would have been very essential that we did cash in for him this summer, because like I said, at full value for the goalkeeper, David De Gea is worth £100 million, like I currently said, but we wouldn't get £100 million anywhere, because obviously he's in the final year of his contract. We do know that Real Madrid have been long admirers of him, reflecting back in 2015. Obviously Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him, but due to fax machine, of course the deal never materialised. But I do believe we've been in negotiations at least for the last 18 or 19 months of trying to get David De Gea a new contract. So he is going to be one of the highest paid players at the club, alongside Alexis Sanchez, and of course he's going to get £150,000 pay rise, and he's 28, and he has still got a lot of development in him, and he hasn't really done much on his 8-year period at the club. I know he was making costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but I think that was mainly to do with the contractual situation, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So this is very good news. We're willing to meet his wage demands now, so it's looking like David De Gea is going to be signing a new long-term contract with the club. We've offered him a 4-year deal with an option to extend it by a further year, so that will probably take him to about 33 years of age, because I think David De Gea now is currently 28. It did say if David De Gea was going to be going, it did say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this came out about 3 weeks ago, was willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number 1 goalkeeper. Like I said, I had reservations about that, because I don't think Romero is reliable enough yet to become our number 1 goalkeeper. Obviously Dean Henderson, I think he's too inexperienced at the moment. It's Dean Henderson. I think the club needs to orchestrate on loaning him out for another season. I know he has been on loan with Sheffield United and all that, but very happy about this, to be quite honest with you, because we have been in talks for a while of getting David De Gea a new contract. Obviously, as it broke out the other day as well, in regards to Juan Mata, obviously he's obviously now staying at Manchester United, after at one point it was looking very imminent he was going to be leaving the club. I think he's only got is it over a week or 2 weeks left on his existing deal. I think his current deal expires at the end of this month, does Juan Mata's. But I'm surprised that we've given Juan Mata a new long-term contract, reflecting on his age and all that, because he's 31 years of age. I thought the club might have given him probably a new 1-year extension or something like that, but it's quite fair. I'm happy about Juan Mata signing a new long-term contract, because I think he's been very consistent for Manchester United. Obviously he has been here 5 years and all that. He's won the Europa League with us, the FA Cup and the League Cup and all that, and he's made 218 appearances in all competitions and scored 45 goals. Juan Mata. But I think we had been in talks for quite some time of also getting Juan Mata a new contract and all that. But at one point he was looking very he was currently going to be leaving, but being a great servant to the club, like I said, he initially doesn't even get in the team now, so basically Juan Mata is used as a squad player, but he's been in the Premier League about 7 or 8 years in total. This was including his 2.5, 3 years he had with Chelsea when he was younger. Obviously we give Martial a new 5-year deal back in January. Obviously we give Scott McTominay a new contract last season. Obviously Smalling and Jones as well got new long-term contracts, something I didn't agree, because they're now too inconsistent at Manchester United. They have been long-term players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, and combining them, I think Smalling is a much better defender than Phil Jones, but I do think they are too inconsistent now. Obviously last season we give Ash Young a new 1-year extension. Obviously that was another another mistake by the club, because obviously Ash Young's one of the problematic players, and he's been a long serving here. He has been here 8 years, and he has had a good career at Manchester United. He was good when he was a winger, when he was younger and all that, but he's no longer got the abilities now, to full right back position. I know he was our first choice right back last season and all that, but he's past his sell-by date. He's 33, he's nearly 34 years of age. But that's been a problem with Manchester United. We have let far too many players' contracts run down. But the good news is now we're going to be getting David De Gea a new contract by the looks of things. Matt has obviously signed a new 3-year deal, and obviously Rashford, we've still got to get him a new contract because he's in the final year of his deal is Rashford. But I don't think Manchester United are orchestrating on selling Marcus Rashford. I think we've been in talks for quite some time of getting Marcus Rashford a new long-term contract, but he is only 21 years of age. Obviously it's going to take Rashford a couple of years to get him to that level where he currently wants to be and all that. And I know he's been inconsistent in the last couple of months, but I still believe he's definitely the long-term solution, even though he's been linked to Real Madrid in the past and Barcelona and that in the past. I don't know if he'd be intending on spending the rest of his playing career with Manchester United Rashford, but I don't think the club will be orchestrating on selling him at this moment in time. Give you the latest news about Bissaka from Crystal Palace, because we do know it's looking very imminent. He's going to be our second signing this summer. I think Manchester United want the transfer of Bissaka completed within the next 48 hours and all that. But like I said, it's looking very imminent. He's going to be our second signing, and I think when we do finalise the deal for Bissaka, I think then we've got to sell, before we can currently buy, because obviously recent reports have suggested out saying that we've only been given £100 million to spend this summer, and obviously Bissaka, I think we're set to get him in a deal with up to around £60 million, and we've already got Daniel James for around £18 million. So potentially that means we'll only have around £20 million left to currently spend and all that. And obviously, we're not going to be able to get central defender, midfielder, right winger, and a striker, and that with £27 million. Obviously, that's impossible. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now does want to sell Paul Pogba. The main factor reason why he wants to currently sell him, so he can help us raise funds and of course rebuild the squad. So when we do get the deal finalised for Bissaka, we need to start selling before we can currently buy him again. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. But yeah, I think we are going to get Bissaka. I think it's set to be completed, like I said, within the next 48 hours and all that. It does say that Bissaka has agreed personal terms on around an £80,000 a week contract with Manchester United, and I think, Crystal Palace are demanding, they want around £45 million up front. So basically, Crystal Palace are more or less demanding the same of what Manchester City, spent on Kyle Walker a couple of years ago and all that. But these headlines broke out quite a few days ago. This came from Duncan Castles. He said Manchester United have agreed a world record fee with Crystal Palace. I think the fee is around £55 million. Obviously, this will make him the most expensive, fullback in football history. Also making the most expensive, British defender and all that. But I think the deal is set to rise to around £60 million. Obviously, we've had recently, 2 bids turned down for Bissaka. Obviously, the last bid we put in was £50 million, but it wasn't a straight £50 million offer. Obviously, we'd offered around £35 million up front. Obviously, there were £15 million in add-ons as well, but obviously Crystal Palace had turned this down because they didn't like the structure of the offer. And obviously, the first bid we had turned down was £40 million. But we have been in more extensive talks with Crystal Palace since last weekend, so I do expect the deal, to be confirmed within the next 48 hours. But obviously, Bissaka has informed Crystal Palace that he wants to join Manchester United this summer, and he's predominantly a right back, and obviously we have got issues defensively. Obviously, that was proven last season because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season in 38 Premier League games. I think that's our highest total in like 4 years, so that just proves the issues that we've currently got defensively. But Bissaka is proven in the Premier League. Obviously, so far has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace, and he's still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. He made his senior debut in February of last year, down Bissaka. Obviously, I think he's gone on to make 42 senior appearances, something like that. And obviously, last season established himself as a first team regular, for Crystal Palace. But he has been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. He has been on our agenda, for quite some time, and he is obviously, one of our top priorities. Is Bissaka. But obviously, he'll fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly, because obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recommend young players to come to Manchester United this summer. Plus, Bissaka is British, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. But I do believe Wan-Bissaka, will be a fantastic replacement for Antonio Valencia, because obviously we do know that Valencia has left the club. Obviously, Valencia served a decade at Manchester United. Obviously, he'll be a great upgrade to Ash Young, and I think he'll be a good cover-up for Diego Dalot and all that. And I do believe he's got the abilities, to elevate Manchester United as Wan-Bissaka and all that. His defensive capabilities are very, very good. And obviously, he does want to rejuvenate his career and all that. So it's looking very imminent, of course. He's going to be our second signing, But I think, he didn't initially say we have come to an agreement on the fee. Some reports saying we haven't come to an agreement on a deal and all that. But I think the transfer should be completed within the next 48 hours. Also, Tottenham had inquired about his service. But initially, when Wan-Bissaka was a lot younger, because he's obviously so far spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace, he was an out-and-out winner. But as he was developing, of course, he got rotated as a right back. But I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring him in to rejuvenate the team, and I think he can definitely elevate Manchester United forward and all that. So I'm very, very happy about this. But we need to see fast improvements, going on into this season of what we saw last season, because last season we finished sixth. We didn't win any silverware last season, but we haven't won any silverware in the last couple of seasons. Obviously, as you all know, we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years. So we have been a toxic club, for the last 5 or 6 years. Since Ferguson retired, we've had different managers with different philosophies. A hell of a lot of money has been invested into the club. We have seen players come in, and of course we have seen players leave and all that. But looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is still in the process of rebuilding, because the only player that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's is Daniel James. But Daniel James on the board, but Solskjaer's going to want to build on that. He's going to want to bring another 4 or 5 more players in, and obviously he wants to address the deficiencies in the squad, and obviously wants to build a squad worthy of the club's mystery and all that. So yeah, looking likely anywhere that Wan-Bissaka of course is currently going to be coming in, which I'm very, very happy about. Latest news now about Matthijs de Ligt for Mike's now. It's been finally made. It's been finally revealed that he has made a decision on his current future, and now reports do say he's on the brink of joining Juventus and all that. Because I think actually Cristiano Ronaldo, who actually joined Juventus last summer from Real Madrid, I think he actually asked de Ligt if he would join Juventus and all that. But he had been talking with Cristiano Ronaldo at Matthijs de Ligt. But we do know he's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window, and he has been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. But now obviously he has made a decision on his future, and I think he's set to join Juventus. I think Juventus are reportedly willing to offer him up to around 70 million euros. Obviously that equates to around 62 million in pounds sterling. I think Juventus have offered him a 5-year contract worth around 15 or is it 20 million pound per season. Obviously this would make him the second highest paid player behind Cristiano Ronaldo at Juventus. Some people are saying how would Juventus be able to afford him. I think obviously Juventus have got a budget and all that, but so many teams have been in there for Matthijs de Ligt. Obviously he was one of our main priority targets at one point. Obviously Liverpool had inquired about it. Says I think the main factor reason why Liverpool were in for him, because obviously Liverpool have got Virgil van Dijk, and Virgil van Dijk and Matthijs de Ligt know each other really, really well, because they're both Dutch and all that. And obviously Liverpool wanted to put Matthijs de Ligt alongside Virgil van Dijk in their back line and all that. Obviously Manchester City had inquired about his services. Bayern Munich were in there, but they had pulled him out of the race. But reports were coming out a couple of weeks ago and all that, saying his 2 likely destinations were Barcelona and PSG. So it did say them 2 were considered to be the favourites to get the players' signature and all that. But we did know at least in the last couple of months that Barcelona, were in the ascendancy of getting, Matthijs de Ligt's signature. Obviously Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate Frankie de Jong, who of course Barcelona, got for around 65 million pounds. But obviously, the main factor reason why I think, Barcelona didn't get him, because obviously, Barcelona were not willing to meet, what his agent, Riley Owen, that was demanding, what De Ligt was demanding. So basically, they struggled to come to an agreement on the terms, and this is the main factor reason I think why Barcelona, of course, didn't get him, even though reports speculated out saying that his transfer to Barcelona is a done deal. He said, the fee and that had been agreed, but obviously, they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms and all that. I was reading up the other week, and then it basically said, PSG were in the ascendancy of getting him. It did say Matthijs de Ligt's agent Riley Owen had been in negotiations with the PSG sporting director, obviously over getting a deal finalised, and it did say PSG offered around £70 million for his services, and it did say PSG had offered a 5-year contract worth up to around £340,000 a week and all that. But initially, we'd offered him a £350,000 a week contract. Obviously, that equates to almost £17 million a year. And obviously, if that would have processed, which we know it's not going to now, it would have made him one of the highest paid players at Manchester United alongside Alexis Sanchez. Also, made him the highest paid teenager in world football and all that. At one point, it was looking likely, there was a chance he was going to come to Manchester United and all that. He's coming out saying, that, he wanted to go to a club, that can show him first team football and all. And obviously, Manchester United, would obviously, would have been able, to give him a first team football, week in, week out. Like I said, first team football would have been much easier for him at Manchester United than it would have been for him at Barcelona. But obviously, I think Manchester has confirmed he wants to go to a club that can offer him Champions League football and all that. And obviously, this is something Manchester United can't offer him. But like I said, it's going to be hard for us to attract players to elite level because we're not in a Champions League football for next season. And obviously, like I said, Champions League football is always very pivotal. When you do want to get your number one targets and all that. And we obviously we haven't got a Champions League football, and it's even going to be hard for us, to convince players to remain at the football club because obviously we haven't got a Champions League football and all that. But I do like Matty Ligt a lot. I did say he's probably going to in terms of the transfer fees, he's going to probably cost you from between maybe 60 odd to 70 odd million pounds because that's what he's initially rated at. But yeah, it was on our agenda, for quite some time was Matty Ligt because obviously we have got issues defensively and we're looking for someone to partner alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. But Matty Ligt, of course, he's only 19 years of age, so obviously he's still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, he's going to be now taking his footballing career to the next level and all that. And so far, he has spent the majority of his career with Ajax. I think he's been an Ajax player since the age of 8, the age of 9. Progressing them up the ranks fantastically well. I think he's been in Ajax's senior squad, since the age of 17. I think he got named captain at the age of 18 and all that. I think he's the only defender as well to win the Golden Boy Award. I think he won this last year, and also enjoyed a good season with Ajax last season. Winning domestic double with them for the first winning domestic double. I think that's the first time Ajax won the domestic double in nearly 2 decades. Also, won the Eredivisie title for the first time in 5 years, and of course progressed to the Champions League semi-final. So he can leave Ajax with his head held up high. We know it's been very imminent. He's going to be leaving Ajax, but obviously obviously now we know where he's currently going to be going, but we didn't know for quite a long time because obviously he didn't make a decision on his future until recently, but now he has made a decision and he's keen on making the move to Juventus. So it's looking like the Ligt is now going to Juventus. So that is the latest news about that. Latest news, I want to give you an update on is in regards of Bruno Fernandes, as I've been updating you about Bruno Fernandes on a regular basis. Recent reports have come out about him now basically saying that he is attracted to Manchester United's history and mystique, and this is what Bruno Fernandes has currently said. And I think from his own preference, he's actually keen on making the move to Manchester United. Is Bruno Fernandes. I think it's very imperative that we do get a deal more than line for him. Obviously, we have not stepped our interest up yet in Bruno Fernandes because obviously we're focusing on getting the deal over the line from Bissaka, and as soon as we get the deal fully finalised from Bissaka, then our priority of course is to get a midfielder in, and hopefully it's going to be Bruno Fernandes. But he has come out and said he's attracted by the Manchester United's history and mystique and all that, and I think he's keen on making a move. Obviously reports came out yesterday from the Portuguese press saying that we're preparing a bid for Bruno Fernandes around £49 million. I think it reported out earlier on this week that Liverpool had put a bid in for him of around €45 million. Obviously, that equates to around 40 million in pounds sterling and all that. But I think Sporting Lisbon, do want between 60 or 70 million pounds for him. I think, this is what Sporting Lisbon are demanding. But yeah, it did say Manchester United are preparing a £49 million bid for him. Obviously, as it got confirmed earlier on this week that Manchester United had been in negotiations with his current agent, and now we are preparing to put an opening offer in for him. And also it confirmed earlier on this week that Tottenham had been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent. Obviously, I think this was on Wednesday that Bruno Fernandes' agent was in London having negotiations with Tottenham, because we do know that Tottenham have been in for Bruno Fernandes and all that. But yeah, like I said, Tottenham have got quite a few players on their agenda. Obviously, Christian Eriksen is linked to move to Real Madrid, and obviously if Christian Eriksen goes, obviously Tottenham are going to want a replacement for him and all that. But yeah, like I said, Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer, of course, because obviously they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, the last player they signed was Lucas Moura back in January 2018 and all that. But yeah, Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer, and obviously Mauricio Pochettino wants backing. So basically, they're going to want to replace him with Christian Eriksen if he goes to Madrid, and obviously they've seen Bruno Fernandes as a possible replacement for him and all that. Obviously, we do know Giovanni Lo Celso's been on Tottenham's agenda. Obviously, we do know Manchester United have also been in for him. Obviously, Tanguy Ndombele, he's also one of Tottenham's main priority targets. But like I said, quite a few teams have inquired about Bruno Fernandes' services. Obviously, we do know it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been in for him. Obviously, it confirmed the other week that Manchester City have withdrawn their interest. He says that basically, they're no longer in now for Bruno Fernandes and all that. But I do believe, we are still considered to be the favourites to currently get the players' signature. But now reflecting on Tottenham's, reflecting now on Tottenham, now they have currently, stepped up their interest. Now we may have to make a final decision on Bruno Fernandes. But we're concentrating on getting the deal over the line first round Bissaka. Then we are going to step our interest up in Bruno Fernandes. But I do like Bruno Fernandes a lot. He's only 24 years of age. He is primarily an attacking midfield, and Solskjaer does believe he will rejuvenate the team and all that. He'll win us them goals that we do need in that midfield. He'll have that depth in that midfield, and I do believe he will be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba and all that. Bruno Fernandes has been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons, and he's done really well. I think he scored 31 goals in all competitions last season for Sporting Lisbon. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet. So with him coming to the Premier League, he's going to take his footballing career to the next level and all that. And I do believe he's got all the attributes to definitely succeed in the Premier League. Came out quite a few weeks back saying that Ed Woodward was very hesitant over that move for Bruno Fernandes, because I think Ed Woodward has got reservations about spending big on players who he doesn't think of course are going to step up to the mark. But definitely Bruno Fernandes will, like I said. He's still under contract, I think, with Sporting Lisbon till 2023. His initial release clause is around £86 million and all that. But he did confirm quite a few weeks back that Bruno Fernandes did say he would talk to Sporting Lisbon about leaving, if a club come up with an offer that he couldn't refuse, or a big club comes calling in and all that. And he did say he still watches the Italian football and all that. He follows it, because obviously Bruno Fernandes spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, with the likes of Sampdoria, Londonese and all that. So I probably do believe that Bruno Fernandes should be our third signing this summer, and our third signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But yeah, he has basically said about Bruno Fernandes is attracted, he basically said something about history and mystique about Manchester United and all that, the Bruno Fernandes. So he's attracted by Manchester United's history and mystique. That's what he, basically said and all that. But yeah, no team yet has offered £60 million for his service, but this is what I think Sporting Lisbon want. It did come out a couple of weeks ago, saying we were planning to pay up to around £70 million for his services. So I do believe Bruno Fernandes, would be the good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But like I said, it said we're only getting £100 million, and maybe the main factor reason why this is because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season. But I thought it was initially £200 million. We was getting him and all that. But obviously £100 million is going to be nowhere near enough, to address the deficiencies in the squad. So when we get on Bissaka, I think we've got to consider, currently selling players. But we sell Paul Pogba, we sell Lukaku. I think we can probably raise around £200 million there, for their current departures. Probably Damian's going to be going, so we can raise money for his departure. Probably Rojo's going to be going, so we can also raise money for his departure. I think for the departure of Rojo and Damian, we can raise. I think we'll get probably around 25 or 30 million pounds of their current departures. I was reading up about James Maddison yesterday in the media. Now, reportedly, I think he's told his agent he wants to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he allegedly said he's interested in a summer move to Manchester United. Now, reports came out about James Maddison about, was it 3 weeks ago, saying that that we had emerged him as a priority target, and he did say we'd made initial contact with James Maddison over the possible move to Old Trafford this summer, and he did initially say Leicester want around £60 million for him. So reportedly James Maddison wants to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. He is only 22 years of age, so again he would be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba and all that. Obviously he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously it was his debut season in the Premier League last season. He did really well in his debut season with Leicester last season. Scored 7 goals, provided 7 assists. so basically was involved in 14 goals, created more chances there than any other players. So his statistics are very, very impressive, of course. Obviously, I think he's under contract with Leicester till 2023. Obviously, Leicester got him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million, and he did initially, sign a 5-year deal. I think also other teams have been in for him. I think the likes of City, Liverpool, and Tottenham have obviously, been tracking him, since he was a teenager at Coventry, because that's obviously, where he grew up, and obviously he began his career in Coventry and all that. And I think he also had a loan spell with Coventry. He also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen. Did James Maddison. I think he had a couple of seasons in the Championship with Norwich, but last season, like I said, he was involved in 14 goals, and I think he played 36 games in the Premier League last season out of 38 and all that. So obviously he was a regular starter for Leicester. Was James Maddison. But obviously it came out was it a couple of weeks ago saying that he wants to stay with Leicester. He's willing. I think he wants to remain loyal to them, and he's willing to spend at least another season with them. Obviously he's not going to be intending on spending the rest of his playing career with Leicester, because obviously he's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level at some point. But reportedly he has asked to meet Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because it allegedly said, this is coming from Sportsmall, that he's interested in a move to Manchester United. But again, he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. As I've been updating you about Giovanni Lo Celso, obviously he's been on Manchester United's agenda. I don't see Giovanni Lo Celso coming in, to be quite honest with you. I think he could end up making the move to Tottenham, because he confirmed from his own preference quite a few weeks back that he wants to make the move to Tottenham and all that. Obviously it has been one of Tottenham's priority tags is Giovanni Lo Celso. He is a midfielder. He's only 23 years of age. He is Argentinian, but he does also say we've expressed an interest in him. Obviously his initial release clause is around £88 million. I think Real Betis are demanding that the one around 70 or £80 million for him, because initially I think Tottenham had put a bid in for him of around £53 million last month, but obviously Real Betis had turned this down. But last season was only his first season with Real Betis. The majority of last season he was on loan with Real Betis. Obviously Real Betis had got him from PSG last summer and all that. I think Real Betis had made the deal permanent back in April by paying around £20 million. But like I said, if Real Betis do sell him, obviously PSG do benefit from it, because obviously PSG do get a percentage of any sale, of course. I think the percentage they get is around 20% and all that. But I think Real Betis, want around 70 or 80 million. I think last season he scored about 16 goals in all competitions, did Giovanni Lo Celso. So obviously we do know that Manchester United have been in for him. Obviously Youri Tielemans from Leicester, we've identified him as a possible replacement for Paul Pogba. And again, I like Youri Tielemans, but I think actually Leicester want to get him on a permanent deal, because obviously he's had about 5-6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League, because obviously he had been on loan with Leicester since January with Youri Tielemans. Obviously now he's no longer on loan with Leicester, because his loan spell has come to a conclusion. Now he has returned to Monaco as Youri Tielemans, but I think Youri Tielemans has confirmed from his own perspective he will not be staying at Monaco next season. But quite a few teams have inquired about his service. But like I said, Leicester have been in talks with Monaco of getting him on a permanent deal, because he was impressive throughout his loan spell with Leicester. And I think initially Leicester are planning to partner Youri Tielemans up alongside James Maddison in their midfield, because I do probably think they would complement each other and all that. But yeah, Leicester have been in talks of getting him on a permanent deal. It did a lot of reports were reflecting out last week, saying that Manchester United it said we'd revived our interest. It said we'd been in negotiation with Youri Tielemans' agent over the possible deal and all that. And it did basically say that he's available for around £40 million, because this is initially what Monaco rate him at. He's under contract with Monaco until 2022. But recent reports actually came out saying that now that we've pulled out of the race for Youri Tielemans, it said we've been offered the chance to sign him, but we've refused the opportunity to complete a deal for him and all that. But I think also Tottenham have been in for him. Also Manchester City have been in for him. I think he's mainly a box-to-box midfielder. He is only 22 years of age, so I think he'd be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously there was a lot of talks about David Brooks going on yesterday from Bournemouth. I was reading up a lot about him, and it did say Manchester United were interested in signing him. Obviously I think he is a boyhood Manchester United fan. Is David Brooks. Maybe some Manchester United fans wouldn't be keen on recommending David Brooks in. I think he's primarily attacking midfielder, but I think he can also play out wide. I think his versatility is very, very good. He is only 21 years of age. He also said that Tottenham were interested in David Brooks. But yeah, I think obviously he's only had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League, because it was his first season in the Premier League last season with Bournemouth. I think he played about 30 games, scored about 7 goals, provided 5 assists and all that. But I think his performances, were impressive last season. Obviously, Bournemouth got him last summer from Sheffield United for around 11.5 million. I think, if I'm right, did he sign a 5-year, or I think it was a 4-year contract, sorry. So I think he's under contract with Bournemouth until 2022. But I think back in March this year that he got his contract. I think he signed a new long-term contract with Bournemouth and all that. But obviously before he was at Bournemouth, obviously he was at Sheffield United and all that. I mean, initially was in their youth system. Obviously, broke into their senior squad, and he did really, really well. During his 3-year period in Sheffield United's senior squad. Really, really well and all that. Obviously he actually has had experience of playing in Manchester, because actually he began his career with Manchester City. Obviously he was in their youth academy for about a decade. He never broke into Manchester City's first team, but he was in their youth academy for about a decade. But he is only 21 years of age, so he is very, very young. I think he's also Welsh. I think he made his senior debut for Wales in 2017. So obviously he knows Daniel James very, very well, because they both play in the Wales national team. I think he also had a loan spell with Halifax. So it did say Manchester United have been there for David Brooks. Reportedly, Bournemouth would want around £50 million, if they were considering, selling him. I don't think he's a bad player, but do you think he would be good enough for Manchester United? So, like I said, there's been so many midfielders on our current agenda and all that. But obviously, as I've been updating you on a regular basis, with in regards to Paul Pogba now, I think it's looking very imminent that he's going to be leaving. But maybe I think some reports have said now, Juventus getting this deal over the line for Matthijs de Ligt. Now this means they could, pull him out of the race for Paul Pogba. Even though a lot of reports have been reflecting now, at least in the last couple of weeks, saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing Paul Pogba, and it does say, Juventus have been in negotiations with Paul Pogba's agent Raiola. I did say probably more than likely Juventus would have to offload 1 or 2 of their players as part of the deal, 1 or 2 of their central players as part of the deal, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I doubt, they'd be able to afford Paul Pogba outright. But reports reflected out last week saying that the Juventus director, had held negotiations with Manchester United over the, he travelled to London to hold negotiations with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba and all that. He did say one of the players that was willing to offer us was Douglas Costa. He also said one of the players that was also willing to offer us was Paulo Dybala and all that. And obviously we do know Paul Dybala has been linked with move to Manchester United. But obviously we do know that Paul Pogba said he wants to leave Manchester United. Obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now does want to sell Paul Pogba. Obviously, he wants to sell him because obviously, to help us with our rebuilding process, obviously help us with our transition and all that, and obviously help to fund and rebuild the squad and all that. But like I said, we've indicated recently that Paul Pogba is not for sale. It says that we want around £160 million. This is a figure, that Manchester United, would accept, to let Paul Pogba go. But obviously we do know his first choice preference for quite a while has been Real Madrid, and his likely destination of course has been Real Madrid. But we do know basically, Real Madrid are not willing to pay up to £160 million for his services. Obviously, it got confirmed last week on Sunday that Paul Pogba had told Tokyo reporters that he wants to leave Manchester United, and he's seeking for a new challenge, because obviously, he wants to rejuvenate his career and all that. And he also said, he publicly announced this for the first time, that he wants to leave the club. And obviously, he did even say he was willing to go on strike, to force through a move from Manchester United to Real Madrid. But the Juventus director had come out, he said, that Juventus, love Paul Pogba and all that, because he did have 4 good years in Turin. Did Paul Pogba, he exceeded expectation levels really well. He did really, really well, but he hasn't really replicated this form, since he did, come back to Manchester United and all that, because obviously, we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, our most expensive signing. But I think, we have got a history of spending big on players. Like I said, a lot of money has been spent at the club over the years, but like I said, we've been underachieving in the last 5 or 6 years. But I think this summer, we actually are moving away from the policy of signing them well-established players. And, I think we are orchestrating on being, sensible over our recruitment this summer, because quite a few people said, we should be sensible over our current recruitment. But yeah, I think we can probably, with Paul Pogba, I think he's going to be definitely, going there, like I currently said. Obviously, Real Madrid have obviously, got 5 players so far on the board this summer. Obviously, most recently, they've just got Eden Hazard for £150 million. So I don't think Real Madrid, would be keen on spending another £150 million on Paul Pogba. But obviously, we know that Zinedine Zidane has instructed his Real Madrid board, to actually, prioritise a transfer for Paul Pogba. Like I said, Christian Eriksen's on their agenda, and probably Christian Eriksen would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba and all that. But yeah, I even did say, a while back when it actually, said that, the talks are stalled, between Paul Pogba and Real Madrid, because obviously, Real Madrid were not willing to meet his wage demands, because obviously his wage, I think it's on around 13 million a year. Manchester United and these were obviously, Real Madrid were not willing to meet his wage demands. So it did say Paul Pogba was even willing to take a pay cut, to make his move to Real Madrid. But he's 26, he's in his prime. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him, like I currently said. But I was reading reports the other day, and it did basically say, that Manchester United were willing to offer Paul Pogba, we are set to hand Paul Pogba, a loyalty bonus worth around £4 million, and I think he's set to be given this loyalty bonus at the beginning of next month. I think he's going to be giving it on the 1st of July. And it also said we was willing to offer Paul Pogba a long-term contract, worth up to £500,000 a week. Obviously, Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his current deal with Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year, and I think he's on about £290,000 a week and all that. And obviously it came out quite a few weeks back saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. But we do know, at least in the last couple of months, that Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola has been in the process of finding a new club, so he has been subject to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously Paul Pogba, the club, has obviously won the Europa League and the League Cup with us. Obviously that came in his second season with Manchester United, and we have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. We mainly saw it in that 3-month period, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. That's when we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba, and we mainly saw the best of Pogba, of course, when Ander Herrera was playing, because obviously Ander Herrera, freed up Paul Pogba and all that, and Pogba was in scintillating form in that 3-month period, and arguably he is still one of the best midfielders in the world when he's playing in the right vein and manner. But maybe the couple of main factor reasons why he wants to leave the club anyway, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, competing, winning trophies and all that, and obviously, of course, he's not experiencing this at Manchester United, so maybe they're the couple of main factor reasons why he wants to leave the club. And obviously he was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, I think there was talks about him going to Juventus last year. He was linked to a move to Barcelona, back in January and all that. So yeah, it's very essential, that would do get a current replacement of Pogba. But I think actually, Ed Woodward has urged Paul Pogba, to currently sell, urged Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to currently sell Paul Pogba, because obviously, these issues at Manchester United at the moment, obviously, we do need to raise funds, because we've only reportedly, been given £100 million to currently spend and all that. But basically, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, he wants, our transfer business done by the 1st of July. Obviously, before the players do return for pre-season and all that. I think there's like 48 days left of the current transfer window. But yeah, Solskjaer does want to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. But I do believe our expectations are going on into next season. We'll probably, be to maybe finish in the top 4, maybe win the Europa League, maybe win the Carabao Cup or something like that. Because I think at the moment, we are actually a number of years off, from mounting any kind of title challenge up. Obviously, we haven't won the league, since 2013. Obviously, that was over 6 years ago now. But I think, I think at least in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations will be that top 4. Because obviously, looking at the moment, City is strides ahead of us. Obviously, Liverpool, of course, strides ahead of us. So it's very imperative, that we catch up with like Manchester City and Liverpool. And in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I hope it does work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I am going to back him and all that. I don't know if he's got the the actual stature to get us in that commanding position where we do currently want to be and all that. But like I said, I hope it works out for him. I would probably give him at least a year or a couple of years to see how it works out, because like I said, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, because obviously we've already sacked 3 managers since Alex Ferguson retired and all that. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years, was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all that. But he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, not to the highest level, so he hasn't really got that managerial experience. That's something that does obviously concern me and all that. But people have said, if we do get the right recruitment this summer, people have said, we can maybe win the league or at least challenge for the league. But I don't see that currently happening, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously there is cultural problems at the club. I'm very disappointed that we're not getting a sporting director, and I'm very frustrated about that. Because obviously we needed to get a director of footballing, to change the structure of the club and all that, because that is a structural change that we did need. And obviously, like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need back in this summer. There was we tried getting a director of footballing at least for the last couple of months. There were quite a few candidate names, linked with that director's role. But obviously now it's we're not expected to get a sporting director in, so we're going to stick with the same structure. And obviously, it's Ed Woodward that's going to be overseeing our transfer business this summer. So I actually am very disappointed about that. But yeah, like I said, I do believe, wait there in a minute. But like I said, I do believe, that Paul Pogba is currently, going to be leaving the club and all that. So I do believe, that more things will update about that. Like I said, with Sanchez, I think, he could actually, still be at Manchester United next season. Even though I do want us to currently get rid of him, because like I said about Sanchez, his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. Obviously, he's on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on image rights and based on the bonuses and all that. And like I said, his wages having a really bad effect on the football club. He has been inconsistent for Manchester United. He is 30 years of age. He has lost that yard of pace, and looking at it, quite frankly, he has no future at Manchester United and all that. Obviously, we got him in January of last year as part of a swap deal with Mkhitaryan, and he hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have done. Because obviously reflecting what he did at Arsenal, he was very, very good. Obviously, he played under Pep Guardiola when he was younger at Barcelona and did very, very good, but he has not replicated this form at Manchester United and all that. So he is one of the problematic players, and I think we have got to get rid of him. But there is a possibility chance now that he could remain at the football club next season. Obviously, I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of him permanently, based on his substantial wages. Like I said, very, very frustrated if he's still here next season, when Alexis Sanchez. I think reports came out about, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe even longer now. I think you do remember me, telling you and all that. He did say, Inter Milan and Juventus were in for him. He did say they'd been in negotiation with Sanchez's agent, because obviously, Sanchez's agent obviously had been in Italy at that moment in time. He did say we was willing to let him go on a long-season loan and that. We was willing to pay him half of his current wages off, but I don't think we can get rid of Sanchez, permanently. Obviously, reflecting on his substantial wages and all that. And I've already given you the latest news, haven't I, about Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, he's been heavily linked with move to Inter Milan as Romelu Lukaku, and it's looking very likely he is going to be making the move to Inter Milan. I think he's set to join Inter Milan in a deal worth around 60 or is it 70 odd million pounds or something like that. Obviously, I read in the Daily Mail the other day, and they basically said that Lukaku has agreed a deal with Inter Milan worth around £180,000 a week. But obviously, we do know that Antonio Conte has identified Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. And obviously, Lukaku recently described Antonio Conte as the best manager in the world, and obviously Lukaku wants to play under Antonio Conte, because probably Lukaku believes he will flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. But reflecting back a couple of years ago when Antonio Conte was the manager of Chelsea, he wanted Lukaku at that point, but obviously Lukaku ended up making the move to Manchester United. But I think Lukaku has agreed everything with Inter Milan except the fee. Obviously the fee could be problematic for Inter Milan, because we're demanding that we want at least around £75 million. So basically, we're looking to recoup the money, basically, or the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton, back in 2017, because we got him 75 million. Obviously, there were several add-ons, including the deal of around 15 million, which potentially, is it to £90 million, and Lukaku's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United. And he's on about 250 grand a week. But Lukaku's preference, he does want to make the move to Inter Milan and all that. And so I think it's very, very essential, that we do, couldn't get rid of Romelu Lukaku, because he's one of the problematic players. As you all know, I've got strong reservations about him. He has been at Manchester United a couple of seasons. Obviously, he scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions for us. He did well in his first season, but didn't really replicate that form. Of course, in his second season, Romelu Lukaku. But yeah, we've definitely got to get rid of him. I think it did initially say Inter Milan, need to raise them around £40 million by the end of this month, to meet financial, fair play regulations and all that. But I think Lukaku's agent had revealed a while back that his future is very, very open. But even though I've got strong reservations about him, his pedigree's very, very good in the Premier League. His ratio's very good in the Premier League, because he had scored a lot of goals in the Premier League and all that. But like I said, I think he will end up, making the move to Inter Milan. But obviously, they've not yet come to an agreement on a fee, and I think Inter Milan and Manchester United are still negotiating on an actual fee. But Manchester United told him a couple of weeks ago that he can leave the club. Obviously, we do know that Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford, because obviously, he didn't really, get much game time last season. Lukaku was first choice under Mourinho, but since Mourinho's left and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in, Solskjaer has preferred Rashford over Romelu Lukaku. And I think Lukaku sustained quite a few injuries, last season and all that. But like I said, reportedly want at least around £75 million. Obviously, Inter Milan have offered as a card as part of the deal with Lukaku, but obviously, Manchester United have turned this down. Manchester United, of course, have turned this down because I just don't think Solskjaer's keen on bringing Mario Icardi in. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that Inter Milan had offered us Ivan Perisic part of the deal for Romelu Lukaku, plus they offered us cash as well as Perisic, but again, Manchester United turned this down because Ivan Perisic, of course, is no longer a Manchester United target and all that. But I do believe, Lukaku is going to be leaving, and like I said, we sell Lukaku and Pogba, we are going to raise them around £200 million at least, I would say, if their current departure, we may even raise more than £200 million, but like I currently said, recent reports said, we've only got £100 million, to currently spend. We get the deal finalised there for Bissaka. Then it did basically say, further spending, will likely, be dependent on, money raised by, players' sales and all that. So maybe we have been given £100 million. I didn't really believe it. I thought it was £200 million, that we had been given to spend. Maybe we've only been given £100 million because obviously, we haven't, got Champions League football for next season and all that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on this channel. If you do, consider a subscriber to the channel as always. And take it easy. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.